Zoom. Okay, we're being recorded,
Yep.
so watch what you say, everybody. No, I'm just joking. So I won't have time to take a lot of questions today. I'll gauge the time as we go along, but I will be able to, at the end, I think Matt, Cyrus and I can stay on for a little bit longer. But you see my name here, Michael Hudson at Hudson_Michael@smc.edu. Feel free to call with any questions afterwards, and I'll be happy to answer. Or you can email, either email or call. And so there's my direct number to 4981. So let's go to Pulse, please, to the next slide. So our next slide, this is part of the business communication series. This is session number 2 that you're all attending. There's 6 sessions altogether. There was a question about whether we'll be able to repeat session 1, and I think that will be possible. So I'll hopefully give you some updated information next week. But today's session, we'll talk about customer service. Next week, we'll have more opportunities for participation. I won't have as many slides, but we want to deal with difficult situations. And I'm going to invite you all to bring some examples, and we can work through how do you handle situations. And one thing people always like me to mention is there's a point where you can hang up on somebody. And people say, when can I can just hang up? No, you can't just hang up on somebody, but there's a point where if you're dealing with a difficult situation, you go through all these steps, make sure you cover your bases, make sure you've documented all the things you've done. And there are situations where at some point you apologize and say, I'm sorry, but I need to terminate the call. So we'll talk about that and all those other situations. Hopefully you never get to that point. Session 4, I can shine and promote. We want to help you all with some communication techniques that may help you on the job, reviewing job skills, how to talk about those during interviews. A lot of people pay for these expensive seminars where they tell you how to answer specific questions. I will tell you that trained interviewers know when someone's gone through that. We appreciate that you've taken that time, but we want people to be honest and to be able to show their real skills. So that's what session 4 will be about. I can lead with distinction. There are times when we take leadership roles, even if we're not a supervisor. And how can you do that? If you're asked to head a committee, we'll talk about Robert's Rules of Order, which is a way to keep everything running smoothly if things are ideal. So that's session 5. Session 6, we talk about public speaking. Some of you may have to present before the Board of Trustees or speak at graduation or other things. And we'll talk about some of those skills. And I will tell you that the next 3 sessions, the next 4 sessions will be more hands-on, so there'll be more participation. So please sign up for those and participate. The more the merrier, and we'll give you information about repeating that first session for those who missed. Next slide, please.
Yes, and just a little comment on that. Everybody will be receiving an email through the professional development email regarding these sessions, and we'll have these sessions up on the HR website under webinars and recorded sessions. So definitely feel free to check in those directions as well too.
Okay, thank you. And next slide, please. So I always like to start with the story. This is a story about a flight attendant, and she actually did attend one of these classes. It's a joke, but let's play along with me. So assume this person attended. We're not at the punchline yet. Okay, so she attended, but she didn't get all of the information, but she did get some. So Pulse, and she did learn that you never leave your customer waiting, which means you're quick to give an answer. Pulse again, please. And she's to be clear when she's communicating. And also she learned speak loud enough so the customer can hear you. All these are good traits. But here's what happened. So this was, go back. So this took place on a plane. It was time to deliver the meals. So she went up to the first person flying and she's smiling and she says, "Would you like a dinner?" And And then the customer said, uh, what are my choices? And she looked at her and said, your choices, ma'am, are yes or no. Okay, so what do you think about that? Your choices are yes or no. Did she follow these rules? Anybody?
I'd say no.
She followed these rules, but there's some more rules she missed, right? Okay, Mohammed says no. So, so what we want to learn are more rules, and don't answer yes or no as the answer, give a better answer. So let's move on to the next slide. And as we mentioned last week, there's communication theory that applies to all interactions. And first you need is a sender and a receiver. The sender is the person who's sending the message. The receiver is the person who's receiving the message. No surprise there. And then of course we have the message itself. And does the receiver always hear the message the way it's intended? The answer is no, and that's because of something called interference. And so every time we send a message, something can get in the way, whether it's noise, whether it's the way it's being perceived, there can be interference anywhere down the line. And so the way to minimize interference is to use a technique we call feedback, where we look at ways. Let's go ahead and pulse and show the feedback. Feedback helps us to understand what's going on and cuts out some of that interference. So that applies to everything we'll be talking about during the entire 6 weeks. So let's move on. So we're all in the communications field here because we're all at some point going to be delivering customer service. So first we have to look at our organization. We're all employees of Santa Monica College. And if you go to their missions, visions, and goals page, you'll see this at the top. Changing lives in a global community through excellence in education. We have a vision statement that starts out with the statement, Santa Monica College will be a teacher and innovator in learning and achievement. Our mission statement starts with Santa Monica College provides a safe, inclusive, and dynamic learning environment that encourages personal and intellectual exploration. So we are all part of this. We're a part of the mission statement. We're part of the vision of Santa Monica College. Now, as if we're not in a teacher role, if we're not an instructor, someone might say, are we really part of Santa Monica? Is that really our role? Is our role to help teach? It's not our role to help teach, but it's our role to create that environment where students can learn, create the environments where the instructors do their best, create the environment where students know their obligations and they know what resources are to them. So we're all Santa Monica College. We're all part of that eventual learning experience that our students have. So our first thing here, I say we are SMC. So when someone picks up the phone and they call 310-434 and then 4 numbers after that, and maybe they want help with financial aid, and Michael Hudson answers, I am SMC, Cyrus is SMC. Whoever answers that phone, that's Santa Monica College. It's a high school student, and that's their first call to Santa Monica College. They don't think, well, it's Michael Hudson who may be having a good day or a bad day, or really doesn't know anything about financial aid, and that's why he didn't give a very good answer. All they know is they called SMC. So when we pick up the phone, we are SMC. We're the whole college at one time, even though we're one person. And let's go to the next pulse once. So we create either a bridge or a wall. We're either going to help that person get the help, assistance they need, where we create a bridge, or we're going to create a wall where we're blocking them, or we're putting up a hurdle to keep them from getting to their to what they need. So as good customer service skills, we're always trying to be a bridge for someone. Next pulse. So we do represent SMC at all times, which it sometimes means we're delivering bad news, right? So if we're in financial aid and someone's financial aid package only gives them a certain amount of money and they're expecting more, we still are representing SMC. So it's not, customer service isn't always saying yes, yes, yes to everything. It's knowing how to deal with difficult situation we have to say no. And by the way, we'll be going into detail next week on difficult situations. So that's something we will need to pay some attention to next. Another concept I like to focus is on taking ownership. If I pick up the call, it's my call. It's up to me to make sure that person gets what they want. If they say, I want to know about financial aid, I don't know anything about financial aid, except it's money that they get. I don't know how they get it. I don't know the forms numbers, where they turn it in, except I know it's a financial aid office maybe. But if I pick up the call, I'm SMC, I'm making sure I take ownership and get them to the right place. Which means the next pulse, we do ensure a resolution, no matter where we are. People sometimes call HR, human resources. One lady called us and she said, I'm a human and I need a resource, so I'm calling human resources. And we kind of said, well, that's interesting, but let's make sure we get the help that you really need. And thumbs up, thank you, Jeff. Next pulse. So part of it, we're always expressing gratitude. I'm here and everybody in this room here, this Zoom room, is here because we have students. If we disenfranchise a student, enough students, that means our school cuts their staff, we cut our services because we don't have students. So every day I'm grateful that the students are here, that I'm able to serve them. That's the attitude I try to have. And I think that's attitude we need to work for in customer service. Next. And the next thing is, the next two things, so leave there for a sec. So expressing gratitude is very important. Letting them know how much we appreciate them, and we'll talk about it in detail. Next is we apologize. Are you apologizing saying I did something wrong? You're apologizing for the situation. The other day I went to the post office and I have, I'm probably a little unfair with my criticism of the post office, honestly, but I was expecting to wait a long time and there were two people in line and it was about 5-7 minutes late. And then when I got to the window, the lady said, sorry for your wait. And that meant a lot for me. It wasn't her fault, but she recognized that waiting in line was a little annoying, and that's why I avoid the post office, because usually my wait's a little longer than that. But she said, sorry for the wait. So it's not saying that you're guilty of anything, but it's acknowledging, it's reaching out, letting that person know that you understand what they're going through. And she maybe says that every single customer, but that's a good icebreaker as well. And the last thing on this slide is earning a thank you. So that's one thing. We'll talk about self-evaluation when you're giving customer service, and you're going to listen for someone to say thank you at the end of when you're helping them. And if not, look at the situation. Some situations, once again, the bad news you have to deliver, we talked about, where you're not going to get that. But every time I speak, I think, well, could I have handled that better? You know, that type of thing. For example, next time I won't give the stewardess joke. Oh, I liked it. But you know, it's important to evaluate what you do. Next slide. So our goals in customer service, provide timely, complete, and excellent customer service. First of all, ensure the needs of the customers are met. Earn a thank you for yourself. Promote the reputation of the organization. We want people to know this is a good school. If I have a bad day and I show that on the phone, that's a reputation for the whole school. It's not just for me. So we want to promote the reputation of the school. We want to leave that customer inclined to be served again. And I'm using that kind of in a global sense of what a customer is. And we're going to talk about it in just a moment. And lastly, protect the best interests of the organizations, acknowledging that sometimes we're enforcing rules, whether we like them or not. That's protecting the interests of the organization. And on our next slide, we'll talk about who are our customers and what's the age of the students here. Which picture reflects
All ages.
all ages, right? Because we have students we actually have students who are in high school who take classes here. The bulk of our students are just graduated from high school. They spend their first 2 years here, probably 19, 20-year-olds, 18, 19, 20, 21. We also have an emeritus college where people, they serve the needs of our seniors. So it is all ages. Certainly someone who's in their 30s who wants to take a class. I had a friend who retooled himself. He worked in a dark room, he worked with chemicals, and he saw the world going to digital dark rooms, and he took a whole bunch of classes at age 35 or so at a college, and that's very common. So these, when I say customers, it's students to start with, but it's a whole group of people. So let's go to the next slide, and we'll talk about bulk of our customers, our students, are what we call Generation Z students. There should be a close quotes at that. And here's some, our last session, we talked about the different generations, and these descriptions we have on the right here doesn't necessarily apply to every single student, but it just gives you an idea that this is a generation who's used to digital media. They're used to more independence. Some of the things that people my age may have been exposed to as kids, their experience is different. We need to recognize that everyone's experience may be different. Next slide. And then going up to our Emeritus College, where it's going to be our older folks. They grew up in a different world. So there are people who were, probably our oldest students were around during World War II. Maybe they grew up during a war. People who are, my grandkids are growing up in with the COVID-19 virus, something I did not experience as a little kid, but I did experience getting shots for polio. So everybody's experience is going to be different, and we need to recognize it. Next slide. So in addition to students, we serve other employees. Could be administrators, support staff, board members. Next slide. And we also serve members of the public. It could be parents, government officials, visitors to events, taxpayers, voters. Why do I put that in there? They're the people who decide if we're going to be around next year, right? So that's one thing. When you're protecting the interests of the school, someone might say, well, that's not even a student. Why do I care about them? Well, that's the person who goes and votes on bond issues and everything else. So next slide, please. I'm going to need to skip this discussion because of the number of slides. So we're going to skip this slide. And please call me if you have ideas or questions. And next, like I said, next week we'll be able to go more into some details. Let's talk about some specific customer service tips now. So one thing I believe in is instant recognition. So go ahead and pulse. And what is instant recognition? Anybody want to guess on what that is?
Just saying good job.
Okay, saying good job to a customer.
It can be to a customer or a coworker. It can be to anybody.
Okay, so that's, and I think that's a good tip, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for here. So Jennifer is saying hello, and I think you're getting at the point I'm trying to make here. What it means is that we're all busy. We may have an office, we may have a line of 5 people, but when that third person, that fourth person, that fifth person gets in line, they may have to wait 20 minutes. And what happens is we don't want them standing in line saying, gee, how does this person see me, or they're going to go to lunch? what you do is you're working on that first person, may I help you? The second person comes and you say, I'll be right with you. It'll be just a couple of minutes. And then the third person comes, you say to that first person, excuse me, let me just let this person know. It'll be about 5 minutes. Fourth person line, stop again and you say, hi, you know, I got 3 people ahead of you. It'll be about 10 minutes if you don't mind waiting. And of course, when they come up, sorry for the delay. Could you go ahead and pulse? And we do want to send a message, first of all, that we want people's business. We recognize they have to wait. We have to be honest sometimes. You may say, I'm sorry, it's going to be about 30-minute wait, but I promise I'll get to you as soon as I can. So that's what instant recognition is. You stop for just a moment to recognize people as they come in and be honest. So go ahead and show the pulse one more time. And these are the goals, showing them that we want the business, being honest about the wait time, and when they get their turn, they'll get the same excellent service as we're providing the person in front of them. And we have to follow through with that because they're looking, they're timing. The person in front of them got 10 minutes and you're cutting them short. They'll notice. Next slide, please.
And Michael, if I can also share probably maybe one example of also instant recognition in email setting and when we're talking to fellow employees, I think one really good example is say that you receive a Google Teams message or at least an email and you're currently in a Zoom webinar or a Zoom meeting, setting off an email saying, hey, I'm currently in a Zoom webinar meeting. Can I get back to you in about 30 minutes when the Zoom meeting's over, kind of thing. So that
Right.
At least from one employee to another, or at least from one supervisor to a supervisee, we can say, I got your message. It's on my radar. Let me get back to you. That could also be one example as well too.
So, okay, any questions on instant recognition? Let's go to the next slide. So we have Smile. That's a good tool we have. So I say smile when greeting a customer in person and on the telephone. Why do you smile on the telephone? Because people can hear your smile. And I'm not joking. So I went to college, I was a communication arts major. We had radio classes and we were taught when we're reading copy on the radio that we smile because people can hear your attitude. If you're like this and you're frowning, it comes across. What if you're in the worst mood that you could possibly be in and someone comes across your desk? What you do is try to picture yourself instead of focusing on how tired you are or how annoyed you are, especially if it's someone who's been annoying in the past. You try to take your mind to being at the beach, drinking whatever you drink, let's say lemonade, we'll leave it at that, and your significant other is adjusting your pillow or inviting you to go into the water. Put yourself in that place for that moment. And then smile. So sometimes you have to just take that moment and say, let me think of something really pleasant. So smiling really helps. It shows that we're happy to see them, to serve them. So go ahead and pulse there. And also that, they can hear our smile over the phone as we mentioned. Okay, next slide. One thing that really annoys me is when I'm on the phone and someone has to leave the phone and they say, hold on, wait. It's better to say, pulse, it's better to say 1 moment, please. How long is a moment? A moment could be 30 seconds, it could be 60 seconds. But at least it's acknowledging that person's going to have a little bit of a wait. The worst thing you can do is to say, hold on, and you don't, you forget put the person on hold, And I've had that happen. Hold on, this guy doesn't know how to get to the school. How come he doesn't put up MapQuest? And then, you can hear him discussing. So 1 moment, please. And then pulse again. And then let them know, I'm working with another customer. It'll be just a moment and I'll be right back to you. And then when you get back, apologize for the wait. And if it takes a really long time, let's say more than a minute or so, ideally you want to get back to that person and say, it's going to be just another moment and I'll be right back with you. Okay, that's ideal. I realize this, we can't always do that. But the longer someone waits on hold, they're wondering if you're going to ever come back. Next slide. So appropriate greetings, slang terms such as guys, hey guy, dude, honey. Go ahead and show those. Push twice. So we want to avoid those terms. Let's talk about the words sir and ma'am. So my family's from the South. We're from Texas. And I was on a plane the other day and I noticed everyone was saying, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. They had a little Southern accent. They're all from Dallas. It was a Dallas-based crew where it's very common. In today's time, some people are a little sensitive because those are gender-specific words. So I would say if you use the word sir, ma'am, or miss even, be aware that some people may be offended and be cautious with those words. But certain words like honey or hey guy or something like that, or slang terms, hey dude, it's not really professional and someone may be offended at those words as well. Okay, next slide. So I believe in taking ownership of a concern. What does that mean? Don't use the word they. So go ahead and pulse. Go ahead and pulse again. So we're going to use the word I or we. I went to, I'm dating myself, but it was the Kinko's. And I said, do you all have a fax machine? He says, I don't have a fax machine at this store, but I have one at my store in Westchester. So for that moment, that guy was Mr. Kinko's. And he said, let me call ahead and, see if, make sure they're ready for you or they're aware. So when you say the word I have, or we have, if you're more comfortable versus they, can I come in? They don't have that service for students anymore. That means you're not part of us. So the us is, by saying I or we, you show that you're taking ownership. You become at that point a representative of Santa Monica College. And if you have to say, I don't know, don't say they don't have that, or you can say, but let me find out who can assist you. That's when you're taking ownership, when you're not cutting loose until you find someone to assist. And I think we're off to our video here that is called the hot potato. Okay, you have to enable me, Cyrus, to share my screen.
Okay. Oh, shoot.
It says host disabled participant screening.
Oh, no. How do I do that? Just 1 second, everybody.
Anybody have any questions while Cyrus is doing that?
I had one, Michael. Wondering, how do you approach the idea if you're taking care of someone in person and a phone rings? Like, how do you like to deal with that balance of in-person customer service versus also helping people on a phone?
So I think it's important the person who's in front of you knows the phone is ringing, and it's important to say, let me put that person on hold, and then I'll get back to you. And I will say different offices have different priorities, whether phone or priority whether phone or the counter, is a priority. So that will differ from office to office. But being honest, if you pick up the phone, you can say, I'm going to need to. It'll be just a moment because I need to finish assisting someone at the counter, and I should be able to get back to you in about 3 minutes. And I apologize for that wait. So that's how I would handle it. I think being honest, people, if they want instant service, they're not going to be happy, but it's better than them if you just say, hold on or hold, and don't get back to them. So be honest and let them try to be honest about the whole time. I think I can do it now.
Correct, yes. I just made you co-host, so.
Okay. Oh, no, I got promoted, everyone. Okay, I'm really happy. Okay, so take a look at this and then we'll talk again. Hello, Soleil of California. How can I direct your call?
Hi, yes. I'm having trouble with my Model 7 Sonrisa machine.
What? A what?
Model 7 Sonrisa machine.
Hold on. I think software will be able to help you. Hold on.
I can help you. I'll transfer you.
Okay.
Hold on, I'll transfer.
Okay. Hold on. I'll transfer the call. Okay.
Let me transfer you.
Okay, that's fine.
Transferring now.
Okay.
Now it's nighttime.
Amy, please hold. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Transfer, transfer, transfer.
You again?
You got the wrong extension. Hang up and call us again.
You have got to be joking.
Before you hang up, may I ask you to do a survey with me, scoring from 1 to 5? Please give me all 5s.
Okay. I'll call back. Yes, I need to get a refund on my Sonrisa machine right away. And then I need to know how to file a complaint.
Soleil of California has just lost Jennifer as a customer. It's all because instead of listening to her concerns, the employees passed her around like a hot potato. There's a much better way to treat your customers. Please listen to a different way the call could have been handled. Thank you for calling Soleil of California. This is Jeff speaking. With whom am I speaking today?
Jennifer Sands.
Good morning, Ms. Sands. I'm looking up your account now. Are you our valued customer from Los Angeles, California?
Yes.
How may I help you today, Ms. Sands?
Yes, I was having problems with it because the power button just won't light up and I can't get it to start. So
And what product is this?
it's the Model 7 Sonrisa.
Okay. I'm not exactly sure who will assist you with the Model 7 Sonrisa. May I put you on hold for a brief moment while I determine who can best assist you?
Sure.
Okay, one moment, please.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Sands, I have Gertrude on the line from our Model 7 team. She will be able to assist you. I want to thank you, first of all, for your patience, and thank you for allowing Soleil of California to serve you today. I hope you have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
This video is in. Okay. So what I want to do is where are we? Am I back?
Just 1 second. Yes.
Okay. So go on to the slide that says discussion. I think it's 2 slides over. Next one. Okay, so quick discussion, because we do have a few slides to go through. One thing I want you to all, what we tried for in this video is to show honesty. The person who answered, Jeff, didn't know the answer to the question and was honest. I don't know the answer, but I'm going to make sure that you get your assistance, the assistance that you need. Next, he was taking the ownership. He didn't get off the phone until Gertrude was on the line to assist Jennifer. The next, he asked permission. May I put you on hold for just a moment? Instead of you need to wait while I put you on hold. You're not telling the person what they need to do. You're telling what you're doing for them. So if you say you need to wait just a minute, no, don't tell them that. Tell them, please, may I assist you by putting you on hold. It changes it around, makes it a more positive experience. Apologize for the wait. Did he do anything wrong? Maybe not, maybe yes. but apologize for that situation because the goal is that that person had the information right away. Thanked her for being a customer, and in the end, she thanked him, which meant she earned a thank you. As I review, since this is my daughter and I who put this video together, I try to be honest with myself, and I've caught some things that I would have done differently. Does anyone have some ideas as to what they liked or did not like about the video? Anything that could have been done better? Anyone? Okay. So I just want to mention that self-evaluation is part of this process. I go through different situations and I say, yeah, how could I do things better? Okay, so let's move on. So next thing is being proactive. It's not just waiting for someone, it's asking how you can be of service. I know for salespeople, they don't just take the order, they make the sale. So it's the same thing. It's that sales skill. It's knowing someone came for service. So it's not just waiting for them to tell you. It's being active, asking them how you can be of service to them, and then looking for solutions. And finally, don't treat customers like a hot potato. How many people have had that happen where you call and you get 20 people and you wind up talking to the same person? That meant everybody's attitude was, let's get this off my desk onto someone else. And people are aware of that. And Jeff is doing a thumbs up. He's faced that too. Okay, next slide, please. Another customer service tip, stay visible. If you disappear, they think the service is gone. So if you need to go in the back room for whatever reason, say, I'm going to go in the back and get whatever it is, my notebook that I need, or I'm going to grab a sip of coffee before I come back, whatever it is, let the person know. Try to stay visible, or if you can't stay visible, let them know where you're going. Next slide. Never judge a customer based on appearance because they're the reason we're here. It's not up to you to say this person's dressed well, so they get better treatment and this person doesn't. They're all our customers, whether they're students, whether they're parents, whether they're members of the community. And just pulse one more time, Cyrus. They're the reason we're here. Okay, next slide. Go ahead and pulse once more time. Leave food and beverages in a break room. No one wants to watch you eat. No one wants to watch you eat. My understanding is we don't have an official rule here about eating at desks. Some offices, I think, allow that, but I'm going to be someone who promotes not having food and beverages because your attention is on the beverage. If I have a delicious sandwich in my hand, I'm going to be paying more attention to that than I do the student that I'm working with. So that's my best tip here is please don't eat in front of your customers. Next slide. Also, people don't care how you're feeling. Someone who's a student, they're trying to get their classes in, they're trying to find out how much money they owe, they're trying to find out, they don't care about you. Next, pulse once. They've driven to campus, they managed to park, which is sometimes a feat in itself, waited in line, and here you are saying how bad your day is. Next. They don't care if you haven't had your break. And next. The only way they can assist you in your problem is by leaving. And that's what the last thing we want. So if you're in a bad mood, like I say, try to picture yourself in Hawaii or hiking or whatever you enjoy. Put that in your mind when you greet the customer, so they know, so they don't have to experience whatever you're going through at that point. Next slide. And pulse one more time. So keep your personal life personal, and that includes telephone calls and interactions. There's so many times I've been to the store and the checker and the bagger are, and go ahead, pulse one more time, Cyrus. The checker and the bagger are talking about their own situations. And you know what, I'll go and see a checker that never talks to me, and I'll go to the self-service aisle, which means at some point, if every customer goes to the self-service aisle, they won't need checkers. So really, your personal life, no one wants to hear about it. So that should not be within the range of customers. Next slide, please. You should also pay attention to body language to truly understand the customer. And that's why you need to pay attention to what they're doing. If someone's going like this, or if they're, pay attention to all those nonverbal clues. Okay, next slide. And there's sometimes when you have people holding a long conversation in the back of the line, you have to politely say, and once again, taking ownership of it, you don't say, you're too loud over there. You say, I'm sorry, I'm having a little trouble hearing this gentleman over here. Could you keep it down a little bit? So it's your fault. Just take it on yourself so the person doesn't feel offended. So go ahead and and also this also applies to when someone is talking to you. Let's say it's a student, and it's nice to say something about, what's your major? Oh, I'm this. And then you're trying to just be friendly, but then you want to move to the next student, and then they want to spend an hour telling you about their major. And somebody just say, that's really interesting. If it's, let's say, a coworker, you may say, we'll talk about it some other time. Or if it's a student, you just say, hey, that sounds interesting. Good luck with your career. I'm going to need to get to the next customer now. Next slide. And pulse twice more. So you're going to guard personal information of your customers and be careful when discussing sensitive information. That's very important. I think everyone knows this. This is more of a reminder. Confidential information needs to be guarded at all times. Next slide. And we want to encourage customers to return, right? These students, even if they have a concern when they're coming to you, we want them to be enrolled next year. We want to give them what they came here for. So we want to thank them for coming, and we also want to let them know how much we appreciate them. So pulse twice and show them that. Okay. And next slide. We mentioned smiling when you greet the customers, smiling when you interact, smile as the customer leaves. Some people feel a little uncomfortable about this, but people read your facial expressions. So I try to smile, even in difficult situations. Actually, when I get a little nervous, sometimes I smile, just out of nervousness. But smiling goes a long way. Next slide. Okay, this is showing gratitude. And some people will say, not a problem, no worries, yep, or no response. So, thanking someone and showing gratitude when they're thanking you, it's important that we don't just minimize when someone's thanking us, and we make sure we're very clear when we're thanking them. So we go to the next slide. We'll show you that. Hey, thank you for signing up. Enjoy your class. So you've just done something for them. You showed them how to sign up for a class, but you thanked them for signing up. Thank you for, hey, thanks for coming by. Come over here. Our office is here to help you. Thank you for letting us know about your problem. And maybe this is not the exact way to word it, but we appreciate you letting us know about this concern. We'll make sure we take care of it. You're thanking them, and then when they thank you, the next slide, I put up a French term and a Spanish term because I don't think English always captures it. And forgive my pronunciation. Je vous en prie. So if someone says thank you in France, they will sometimes say "Je vous en prie," which I understand means it's I pray that you don't even thank me. You know, I appreciate serving you. I pray that you don't even thank me. Augusto es mío. The pleasure is mine. You know, it's my pleasure. You're welcome. It's my pleasure to serve you. You're welcome. Is there anything else I can assist you with? You're welcome. I'm glad we could fix that for you. So when someone says thank you, don't just say or yeah, not a problem. Let them know that you appreciate their time as well. Next slide. Okay, we have another video, and this is appreciation. Okay. How come that's not working? Oh, here we go. Share. Close that off. And here's appreciation.
With rollover data, the data you don't use this month rolls over to the next month.
And I don't have to do anything.
Not a thing. MobileSure Value customers get it automatically. It's how we show appreciation.
You know, I really appreciate that you appreciate me as a customer.
And we appreciate how much you appreciate us appreciating our customers.
And I appreciate that you appreciate that.
And I appreciate you appreciating that.
I appreciate that.
Introducing AT.
Okay. So a lot of appreciation going around. And now, am I back in regular mode?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so go to the next slide. Next thing is, next slide. Okay, we want to be sincere. Do I really mean that? Do I really mean be sincere? Because if I'm sincere when I'm you know, if I have a cold, let's say, don't come to work with the cold, everyone. No, don't do it. But let's say I have allergies that are not contagious, and I come to work and my nose is hurting and I have a headache and I didn't get any sleep. Being sincere doesn't have the same meaning. It's meaning act as though you are happy. You know, be yourself. Let the person know how much you appreciate them. So sincerity, when I say be sincere, I'm meaning be the person you would be under your best circumstances. And when you have a bad day, next pulse once, learn to separate your thoughts from your actions. So once again, this is re-emphasizing thinking about being on that beach for that moment. But other than that, be yourself. Some people become what we call officious. Officious is where, you know, have a seat here, we'll take care of you next. And it looks like you're just being, you're robotic. You're not being, it's not person to person. So be careful of that as well. And we're going to go on to the next video. I think I'm learning how to do this. Push yes, push the screen, push share. Hey, it's working. Okay.
Good job, Michael.
Next class, I'll be perfect at this. Okay, so this is, I love Southwest Airlines, and this is them showing their sincerity.
Southwest Airlines, the rest of this crew, we'd like to be the first to welcome you to Maui. But we're going to have to settle for Reno. Y'all know the rules. Keep your seatbelts on, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Yes, you can use your cell phones only if they're handy. Give somebody a call. Tell them what a great flight, great service you just had on Southwest. If you are making a connection here in Reno, deplane, check the TV monitor in the terminal for your flight and gate number. We certainly have enjoyed sharing part of our day with you. You know there's many, many choices when you fly, and we certainly do appreciate you choosing us here at Southwest. Reno is your final destination. Go out, buckle up, be safe. The next time your travel plans bring you to the sky, come back and see us here at the ranch. We'll be glad to give you some more good old Southwest hospitality.
Okay. Now I'm looking at Cyrus. Let's see.
Yep. Just one second.
Okay. Cyrus is a nice guy, but it's not. He's not part of the lesson today. So go ahead and pulse again, and we'll show the wording. So one thing the captain said: we know that you have always have choices on how to fly, but we want to know that it's always our pleasure to serve you. And that's something that this guy knows. They could have gone on an American, which means that's less money for Southwest. They could have gone on another flight. So this guy wanted to acknowledge that. It's always our pleasure to serve you. This is really what I would say A+ customer service. A little joking around with the customers, showing, you know, that's the human side of it. It's not just a robotic response. So does everyone agree this was a good way to deal with your customers here? Okay. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. And
They also make use of humor, which is helpful.
yes, it's good to, and that's the human side of it. It's not just, you know, sometimes it sounds like they're holding your nose. We really appreciate you being on here, you know, and it's like, okay, they have a script. This person was really talking from the heart, which meant a lot. So the last thing in this before we go to email is earning the thank you. Once again, self-evaluation, you're listening for that. You're listening for how the person leaves you. In HR, there's times when I have to give bad news to an employee, but I try to treat them with total respect. And at the end, I'm thinking, well, did I do it in a way where I was most respectful of that person? And that's one way of looking at that. Let's go to our next email is, next section really quickly. We're gonna go over email etiquette, and I have a video that talks about that as well. Which one is it? Share this screen. Go here. How do I get out of this? Okay, so then I close that one and start this one.
Hey Tyler, you going to that all-day meeting tomorrow?
I'll be on vacation from Tuesday, June 27th until 2 days ago.
Your auto response is still on.
I'll be on vacation from Tuesday, June 27th until 2 days ago.
Okay, everyone, I need you to send me your reports ASAP before lunch if possible.
Will do, Trip. Will do, Trip. Will do, Trip. Will do, Trip.
Why are you including me in this?
We'll be there around 7 tonight, if that's okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
Kind regards, Trip Crosby, Regional Sales Manager. Work 404-555-6112, extension 405. Mobile 404-555-3767. Email trip@biz. Success is always an option. John Maxwell, author.
Here's that report you needed.
I don't see anything.
Oh, dang it, I forgot to attach it.
Hey Beth, did you see all the submissions we got today?
OMG, I know!
Easy on the all caps.
Sorry.
It's okay. Semicolon, close parenthesis.
Hey, son, you have to watch this video of this cat sleeping on a horse. It is so cute.
Mom, I'm at work.
Dear friend, I am Johnson Emmanuel. This might come to you as a surprise. I'm the next heir to the throne in Nigeria, and I want to offer you a large sum of money.
Please stop coming here.
Hi, Trip. Are you satisfied with...
Hi, I'm the administrator. I could not deliver this document. It was too big. On Monday at 10:37 a.m., Paul wrote, "Hi, Trip. This is the latest version of the document you were looking for. Hope it's not too late. Paul."
Yeah, I know what I wrote.
Hey, really looking forward to seeing you guys tonight. Oh yeah, circular disclosure. The information transmitted just now is intended only for the person or entity to which it is addressed, and it may contain confidential and/or privileged material. Any review, retransmission.
I don't know what that means.
Inbox full.
That's what he said. Hey, what's this poker game I hear about this weekend?
Who's that guy?
You mean to bring anything, or?
I meant to invite a different David. Rain check?
Email can be frustrating, but that's probably...
Okay, so this is email etiquette we're going to cover really quickly and go to the next slide. 2 slides, I think. Twice, okay. So one thing is, did we skip one? No. So, no, I think that's right. I skipped one. So just quickly, email etiquette. I hope you all enjoyed that video. It showed some humor of what people might be thinking when they get an email from you. Remember, when you address someone, make sure that you're only sending it to the people you intend. That's why the guy had invited the wrong David. Check the copy line, and be selective on who receives copies. Don't just send stuff to everybody, because when I get an email, it's something I have to pay attention to, and maybe it's something that I really didn't need. Next slide. Forwarding emails, don't forward an entire string unless all the individual messages are essential to the email that you're sending. Some people write the word snip just to show that they cut out some of the emails in between. Be careful about adding new recipients. Other persons may object. When I worked at LAUSD, there were a bunch of employees that were complaining about the superintendent, and one wrote something really mean about him. And then someone said the superintendent needs to know what we all thought, and forwarded the whole string. And boy, I can't repeat the word. But anyway, the superintendent replied to everyone and said, by the way, I don't think that I am what you called me in your email, and called the person out by name. So that email string should not have been forwarded. You know, the person said, well, he should know what's going on, but it was very poor judgment. Redact or omit messages as needed if you're sending out something about a student and their issues, and it includes their social security number or other personal information, but you want the gist of it. Go ahead and cut that out and maybe write the word redacted or something. And be careful with the reply all. Make sure that everybody on there are people that you want to know about what you're sending. Next slide. Don't make assumptions about gender or professional titles. We at HR have gotten in the habit of writing full names. So dear Michael Hudson, dear Hank Johnson. Avoid nicknames, avoid casual terms such as hey instead of hello. It's okay to write dear as though you're writing a letter. But don't just say, hey, what's up, Hank? You know, that person may be offended by that. Go to the next slide. Also, update your auto response feature. You saw that in the video. If it's the middle of May and you're still talking about January, it looks like you're not paying attention, and you actually aren't. Don't forget attachments. That was in the video as well. Be mindful of the size of the attachment, and clear your inbox to avoid an inbox full response. All these are from the video. Next. Signature block, include full context, including, you know, in this case, your name, your position, the fact you work at Santa Monica College, telephone number, fax number. And here it says Santa Monica College Champion of Student Success. I have a thing about adding too much verbiage. There are people who say, well, I want to put my favorite author, I want to put this, I want to put that. I would say if you put something that's officially Santa Monica College, and by the way, the example here is not, you know, if you wanted to put part of our vision statement or something like that, I think that's fine. I think sometimes we get carried away with what we put on the bottom of our emails. As far as I know, there's no specific rule from the district, but you know, to me, that's just best practice. Being very cautious about what you add. Next slide. Okay, all caps, no good. You're shouting, so you don't want all caps. There are people that use emojis. We've actually received discrimination complaints about emojis where someone puts in a smile and someone, you know, smiley emoji or a heart emoji, and they think it's, you know, someone's making a pass at them and they're offended. So be careful with emojis. Try to be professional and concise. There's so many different fonts out there. Some of them are so hard to read. People will not appreciate if they can't read what you're sending. Treat emails as though they'll be posted on social media or subpoenaed. We don't know whether your email could wind up in court, right, or not, because it could be subpoenaed and put in court. So if you had a difficult time with a student and you say, this stupid idiot called me again, I hope you can help them, and you put it in your email, and that student winds up suing us, and that email might wind up as Exhibit 1. So be careful of what you say on the email. Treat it as though it's going to be out there, because it may wind up being out there. Next slide. Also ask if a telephone call or a letter would be more appropriate. Email may be a little bit insensitive. So that's something you have to ask at all times. And does that next slide, I think that takes us to the end. Oh, it is. Okay, so that takes us to the end. I want to thank everybody for coming, showing up today. And I think Cyrus and I can stick around if there are any questions. I'd love to see you all next Wednesday at 10 o'clock. Please sign up and finish off our series, and we'll try to get caught up on anyone who missed the first one. Thank you very much. It's been a real pleasure. And Cyrus and I will stick on if you have any questions. See you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Hey, Cyrus, I think I emailed you. I wasn't able to find on the professional development page when the next classes are.
Thank you, Michelle.
So yes, Janice, I did receive your email. My sincerest apologies.
No, it's okay.
I have to find a way to have it on the website.
Okay.
And we were also formatting them into webinars as well too. So don't worry, I'll send you specifically an email with the links as well too. So.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, we'll be happy to have you.
Thank you. Sorry I was late today.
No, not a problem at all, Janice.
Okay, thanks you guys. Take care.
All right.
Okay.
See you next time.
Okay. Thanks.
Right.
Bye-bye. I'm
Any
so sorry.
questions? Any questions? Thank you, Sherry. Any questions? Anybody? Okay, if not, once again, thank you again. We'll see you next week at 10 o'clock. See you then.
All right. Thank you all.
Thank you, Ray.
We'll be ending the meeting now.
Okay.